Hello and welcome to Brotakus, the weekly anime podcast where we discuss all things anime and otaku. I'm your host, Chris, and joining me today are my two good friends, Matt. How you doing?
Can you hear
No.
my heartbeat?
Not this early.
They knew I was here because they could feel it. They could feel it.
They can feel your heartbeat.
Exactly.
And my other friend, Chris, who from henceforth we will refer to as Underwood.
Yes.
Or as we were discussing beforehand,
Chrisio.
We're not naming me after Uranian on Ice. Well, I'm just going to set that out now. I haven't watched it, so no.
See, you're going to be mad
No.
whenever you do watch it, though, because you're going to be like, oh, man, Yuri Pazinski's the best there's ever been. I wish I would have accepted the name.
But today we are doing another First Impressions video, or podcast, rather, not video. We're not on YouTube yet. What the fuck am I saying? Anyways, we're doing a First Impressions. We have just all recently sat down and watched Eureka 7 or Eureka 7.
Eureka 7.
Okay.
Solves the Planets,
I always
Eureka
pronounced
7
it.
if you want to do it.
I always pronounced it Eureka 7.
I did originally, like, when it was airing on Anna Midnight on G4, but then I was told that it was Eureka 7, and I was...
That seems
like,
very difficult to pronounce.
It is.
It is, but it's also one of the main leads' names, Eureka.
It's E7. No.
E7. We will refer to it henceforth as E7.
Better than E3, so...
E3, yeah.
Or we can name it E70.
Because all of our life has to revolve around Yuri on Ice now.
It's sad.
Except
but-
mine revolves around JoJo, so...
All right, so
We did this to ourselves for you people.
Yeah, I don't mean
It's
to-
your fault.
I don't mean to railroad this conversation immediately to Yuri on Ice, even though I totally did multiple times now, every time I've spoken. But, like, this girl started talking to me the other night, and I was watching Yuri on Ice, and she was like, you should come over. And I was just like, I can't, I'm busy. It was their Stelicon Cup. I couldn't leave.
This is how serious it's gotten.
Yurio finally found his agape. All right, let's get into this.
Anyways, Eureka 7. One of us here has actually seen the entire series multiple times. That would be Underwood.
Yeah, that would be
He's
me.
the one who suggested that we do this, do our podcast on that this time. So he was the experienced viewer here. We, Gadri and I, we were the neophytes, the new ones.
It's true. We were scrubs.
Yeah. So let's get into the anime.
Yeah.
Basically, opens up. It's like a pseudo mecha anime. Again, blind viewing. Don't have any previous knowledge on it. So all we get is first episode. If we feel like following up later, we can. But for this, first episode only. So it opens up. We've got some. We got Lucio from Overwatch flying a mech.
Matthew, as the character's name is.
Yeah. He looks like Lucio.
And
he does.
And
yes.
Matthew is the person that made this joke upon viewing. It's like, hey, look, it's Lucio.
Well, my roommate and I were watching the sub before I came over, and he made the Lucio joke as well.
Yeah. He does really look like Lucio.
Yeah, he looks a lot like
Well,
Lucio.
I think we should say Lucio looks like him because it came out first.
You know we're going to be called racist now.
He looked very much like Lucio.
It's
There
true.
wasn't even
It's
like
true.
a...
You know who would do a great Lucio cosplay? Charles from work.
Oh, Charles Cummings?
Yeah, he would be a bomb diggity at it. Anyways, let's keep talking. Though.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Basically, we see a guy named Matthew, looks like Lucio, piloting this mech. They're really interesting mechs. They fly around on what look like gigantic mecha surfboards.
Yeah.
Which is kind of neat. Not seen that portrayed before. Not 100% sure on everything that was happening. Correct me if I'm wrong. There was like some sort of like combat situation going on. They were like looking over. Person in another mech was fighting some people.
Yeah, they were.
Murked them up real good.
They did.
I don't remember the name of the little trick he pulled at the end.
Cut back, drop turn.
Cutback drop turn. Pretty dope move.
It is.
Afterwards, we get it kind of cuts to the actual main protagonist, I'm assuming, of the series.
Renton Thurston.
Renton Thurston. That's his name. I was actually feeling real bad that I couldn't remember that for a second. Renton Thurston. Thurston. I'm going to call him Thurston. Because I associate that name with Thurston Howell III from Gilligan's Island.
Renton would get you made fun of so hard in school.
I
Somebody's
mean,
named Renton.
well, to be fair, he kind of does.
He's hanging out with some. He's like me personally. You know, if he was hanging out with somebody hardcore or whatever, if he's unpopular, especially, it's gonna be worse. 'Cause it's gonna be like, oh, you finally made a friend, huh, Renton? It'd be like, yeah, and he'd be like, and then I'd be like, I bet he's renting that ass. Boom! Nailed it, and then I want to high five my friends. I'm awesome, right? I thought it, and I said it, I'm the best.
But yeah, cuts to the main character, Renton. He's, you can see him practicing his own attempt at a cutback drop turn.
And failing spectacularly, I should say, not miserably.
Yeah, pretty hardcore fail on that. They have a special name for the boards, or what?
It's been several years since I've actually watched this. I don't remember the exact name for the boards.
I didn't know if I couldn't remember if they had specified it or not.
I do believe they
Party
say it
Board
at some
USA.
point later in the series, but I don't remember the exact.
They're
name
called Party Boards USA.
Party boards, okay.
Party boards.
Party Boards USA.
Okay.
You gotta throw the USA after that. What you don't know is this is all just leading to Spuds McKenzie showing up on this hoverboard thing. And Marty McFly.
With Amy Wong.
Well, it's less hoverboard and more surfing because they ride on trap R, which they've said in the show.
They went over that. That was the thing that they were going over in class, right?
Yes, which caused a 7 swell effect, as they said.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure they'll go more into that. It's like wind surfing, but in the air or something.
Yeah, it's
ether or some crazy shit.
It's light particles in the air that they use, and I believe it refracts light, and they use it to surf on.
Okay.
There's later in the series there are like big trap R storms, big trap R wind movements they use to like go.
I assume that's how the
lifting
mechs
spots.
surf about as well.
Yes, you can see when they were surfing, you would see the trap R come out from underneath their boards.
Yeah, the wake basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, they go into a little bit of that.
Mechs and surfing.
Yeah. It cuts basically after you see Renton fuck up. He's getting his board worked on a little bit, and they talk about main cat Holland. Holland is his name.
Holland, another main character.
He was actually the dude at the beginning who was fighting the other guys in mechs.
Yes.
Another name I would have made fun of people for having in high school. Yeah, you finally made a friend, Holland? You're hauling that dick.
This is going to incur the entire episode, isn't it, Gadry?
The character's name, no one will figure out one.
That's why he's so quiet. He's sitting over here just trying to find something.
No, I'll let you guys explain so that I can talk for 10 minutes about things about this thing and then talk about Yuri on Ice for 4 minutes.
Okay.
I think you've already used up some of that.
And then talk about Naruto for 38 minutes.
We'll have to cover that in a separate podcast because that's good material.
I can go into a very long discussion about Naruto.
We all could.
Yes, I've been watching it since middle school.
We already did that. We did one of these podcasts that was what anime gave you the most feels. And we were trying to aim for like 30 minutes, and then we looked down and realized like 22 minutes in that I had just been talking about Naruto this entire time, and no one else had a chance to speak yet.
Yeah, I actually listened to that.
Yeah, it was good times.
Now,
it was really good.
Well, the same thing happened with fucking Yuri on Ice. We were only shooting for when we were doing our follow-up on Yuri, we were only aiming for like another 20 to 30 minute podcast, and like we just fucking went into it and we looked down, it's fucking hour and 5 minutes or some shit.
And we could have probably talked for another 2 hours.
Yeah, easily. That was just skimming over the surface.
Yeah. Very easily.
Yeah. But basically he's the main character, Renton Thurston, he idolizes Holland, the dude we saw at the beginning in the battle. Don't really know much about him yet. What happened next? Oh, it cuts him at school.
Yeah, he was going out to lift in the morning, which is what they call the surfing in the air, essentially. And then he was going to go to school and do normal school shit, you know.
Yeah. Now he goes to a school that I guess they're prepping for a military academy kind of thing. You find out that Renton's father was like a war hero.
Yeah, they elaborate on that much later.
Oh, I imagine. So you find out he's the son of a war hero. He really doesn't give a shit, it seems.
He doesn't.
Then you get a flashback with his sister going away for some reason. Also still not explained.
That was actually covered as well.
Was it?
Yeah. Basically,
if it was covered in the episode, you can go over it. I'd miss it, I guess.
Yeah, they went over it. That she went over to prove that her father saved the world, and then she left.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's when he was sitting on the roof and the mean kids were talking about it.
Yeah, and then he just punched the fucking shit out of him.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I got you.
And like I said, I watched this subbed with my roommate earlier. He thought he was just gonna clench his fist and walk away. He was surprised when he decked him.
Yeah. Well, so we've get a little bit of the basically like little history of the family a little bit. He's leaving school. You meet his grandfather, who's like totally anti him joining the military academy or pretty much doing anything other than being a mechanic.
Yeah, because family values.
Yeah. Bit of an altercation between him and his grandfather. Then, boom, crash. Mech lands in their yard.
Yeah, but don't forget that scene with the delicious food at that restaurant.
Oh, yeah. I hate anime food. You know why? Because I'll
too
never
good.
fucking have it.
We might blow up and then get to go to Japan and be like, hey.
Pork cutlet bowls?
Yeah, pork cutlet bowls.
All day?
I'll find a fucking place. There has to be a Yuri on Ice, like, hot spring out there, like, themed.
Yeah. So, yeah, the mech crashes in the yard. That was the yard, right?
It was their garage, their yard. They live there. So.
Okay. Yeah, they're basically mechanics. They
crashed into Renton's bedroom.
Oh, yeah. Wrecked his shit.
Yeah, they call them LFOs.
LFOs
does stand for Light Finder Operation.
Okay. They didn't address that yet, did they?
No, I don't know if it's actually ever gone over in the series, but I have the light novel here sitting next to me, and it actually does say that.
Okay, cool. So Light Finder Operation, that's the name of the mechas that they're piloting. Out of said mecha pops out this girl. I assume that is Eureka.
That is Eureka, yes.
That's what I was thinking. Prior to intermission, I think they established that the mech is damaged and she needs help repairing it.
It's acting wonky. It's not really damaged, per se.
Something's wrong with it. It's not acting right.
Yeah.
I guess Renton and his grandfather agree to help fix it. Renton's granddad is salty about some shit. Finds his book thing.
It seems like the granddad knows like who this lady is. Like it looks like he knows the mech. Like
he knows the mech for sure. It was like the original of the LFOs.
But it seems like he knows who pilots the mech traditionally. Like the mech is involved with that group or whatever they're called.
Yeah, they're.
He seems to know that, and he seems to know like, okay, they're obviously here for this thing. This part for this mech that I have.
Yeah. One of the reasons I love this anime is that everything that's set up in the first episode actually comes back later.
Okay, so it is all super self-referential all the way through. Okay, cool. So working on the LFO, Renton discovers it doesn't have a compact drive.
Yeah,
which is the weird little like glowy green stick things that everybody seems to have. Are those like the cell phones of the day?
No, it's more like a car key.
Okay.
He actually plugs one.
Oh yeah, he uses it on his bike too. Yeah. Okay. He knows it doesn't have a compact drive slot. She doesn't know what the fuck that is.
Well, it has the compact drive slot. It just didn't have the actual compact drive in it.
Okay. Which is weird because all the other ones use them and they're not supposed to work without them proper.
Yeah.
Okay. She didn't want to put it in because she's like, it worked before. I don't want to fuck with it if I don't know what it is.
Well, she actually put in a big character trait there in that she can't believe in something if she doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
Or,
some people show up. They're like a security force.
Actually,
almost like police, kind of.
No, that's the actual military.
Oh shit! Okay, yeah. There's a lot I'm missing here. Basically, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, military shows up. They're like, "Listen, we're fucking you up, boy. We're destroying this mech." There's actually a discussion where one guy's just like, "Hey, this isn't cool. You're not supposed to try and destroy this shit." And the guy was like, "I'm pretty sure our exact orders were destroy that shit, bruh." And he's just I don't give a shit, man. I'm part of this group. And he's just like, "Fine, then, fam. Come at me, bruh." And there's like this whole back and forth.
This reminds me of Thug Notes. You ever watched Thug Notes on YouTube?
Nah, I'd be great at it though.
I just watched one. It was the Epic of Gilgamesh, and it is the most hilarious fucking thing. I recommend you check it out. Everybody
right up my alley.
All of the listeners, check out Thug Notes. It's fucking hilarious.
I'll probably try to listen to that on my way home.
That's how I recap everything to most people when I'm not on air. As I'm just like, some motherfucker was like, "Come at me, bruh," and he was just like, "Nah, you ain't shit, fam. You ain't gonna do shit." And that's what happened in this episode of Teletubbies.
This is what he does a lot.
Continue.
I've listened to the Brotaku podcast, so
yeah. No, I mean off air he does this shit too.
Oh, I'm
This
friends
is
with
just
him.
consistency. Yeah.
I am friends with him. I was his roommate at one point.
Consistency. That's what it's all about, folks. But yeah, so these motherfuckers roll up to the party and they're just like, we destroying this bitch.
Oh, yeah.
And then they have some fighting. She takes off or whatever. And then the grandpa is like, yo, little kid dude, bruh, you got to take this piece to that bitch that's flying that mech. It'll awaken its true potential. And he's like, all right. And then he drives his fucking moped off a cliff.
That is pretty much exactly what happens.
He has a board that he's going to use to get up to the mech to give her the piece. But if you just went over...
He does ride his bike off a cliff.
He does.
My favorite part's when he's like falling and like he's got the board and he's about to get ready to get on it. He's like, wait a minute, was this a bad idea? And then credits.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the rough kind of shit summary of the episode. At this part, we pretty much typically kind of break down our thoughts on it. So, what did you think, Adri?
Listen. Let's do a compliment sandwich. Probably is a better thing to do.
Okay.
Because I didn't despise it. I didn't hate it, but it felt pretty light. Like there's nothing that sunk its claws into me that was like, oh, I have to go back and watch the next episode or something like that. Like there's nothing particularly wrong with it,
right?
But nothing that was like, oh shit, I have to watch the next episode. Like Yuri on Ice, I was like, I have to watch it. That night. I watched like 4 episodes of it, and then I was like, okay, I need to come.
Yeah, I literally watched all of it in one sitting.
It's the same thing with a lot of anime for me. Like Death Note, I watched like 8 episodes in my first sitting because I had to watch more episodes, and that's how I am with a lot of anime. Like an anime either gets its hooks in me, and I'm in forever, or it doesn't.
Right. I can definitely see where this one has potential. The first episode, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit slow.
Mm-hmm.
It is,
but as long as it's paced well for the rest of the series, I don't see that I won't revisit it. But let's kind of toss out some positive things here. Opening theme, loved it.
My favorite band, Flow.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did my favorite thing from Naruto too. Fighting Dreamers. Yeah, that's
the song we were singing before we started watching the episode.
Yeah, I love the art style. It's very similar to the art of Dead Man Wonderland. Fucking love Dead Man Wonderland.
The animation is amazing by the Studio Bones, who did Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah, genuinely, not just the art style, but the actual animation itself. It's not. They don't reuse a lot of the animation for what I've seen so far. I like that. Main character though. Gotta say, right now, he's a little pissy. Like, he's a little bit whiny. I'm sure he improves, but as a first impression...
Yeah, that's one of the things that I noticed is, like, there's no character in this that I like so far. Like, There's nobody that I'm like, okay, I kind of dig this cat.
Well, I'm hoping that the same thing will happen with him as happened with...
Like,
oh shit, what's his name?
The person I identify most with is the grandpa, who's just like, I don't want any part of this shit. Just get off my lawn. I'm sick of you fuckers. All right, get out of here, man. I just want to do a nice, normal, everyday job, that's legit,
My God, FLCL, main character, what's his name?
I didn't watch Fully Cooley, sir.
I know he's referred to as Takun, but that's not his actual name.
I watched the first 2 episodes of Fully Cooley.
Main character from FLCL.
Too much going on.
This kid has a lot of the same vibes as him. He kind of bitches and complains a lot at the beginning. I'm assuming he quickly
yes, Eureka 7, while being a love story, a mech story, a sci-fi story, is also very much a coming-of-age story.
Okay.
For both of its protagonists.
So he kind of grows up and gets his shit together a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Dope. Yeah, the main things I've got issues with is just that there's not a lot of information given to you out the gate. But again, that's not necessarily a problem. It's just one of those things where I'm gonna have to give the three episode shot, like I do with with things that I'm not sure of. Because if after 3 episodes I'm not in, I'm.
Here's my things with it.
Okay.
So, one thing I don't like that I find in this specific anime is the first episode should either be exposition dump in my mind, where you're going to tell me everything I need to know and then pick up in episode 2 and keep going, or B, it should be like this big set piece that's going to get its claws in me and then you're interested in discovering the world.
Right.
This didn't really seem to do either for me. Like there was not really a robot battle. Like, you hear mech, and you're just like, okay, there's got to be a giant fucking robot battle at some point, right? And then there wasn't one in this first episode, where normally the traditional mech, story thing is just like, first episode, backstory, end it with a big robot battle, something happening, you know what I mean? Like, just to show you, like, okay, this is what this shit's about. And you're like, now, cool, dope. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, now, with this, is it based on the manga or the light novels, or are they all kind of their own entity?
So, first what happened was the anime. It's an original anime.
Okay. That might be part of the issue then, where it isn't based on, like, any kind of source material. They're kind of working to get their shit together.
Yeah, it was a completely original concept by Bones. The manga or the light novel came out after. Each one is a completely kind of same retelling of the story, but takes a completely different take. The manga's much darker than the actual anime.
Okay. I'd be interested in checking that out, too, because I like dark shit.
That is the one that is actually written by the creators of Dead Man Wonderland.
Hell yeah. All right, cool. Now, that may be part of the issue where it doesn't have source material to base it on. Maybe they just have a rough start.
I mean, I don't doubt it, but I'm just saying, like, just based off of my personal the way I tend to approach animes.
Yeah.
It was just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of dragged. It was kind of slow. I guess it's spending more time setting up the more interpersonal connections, but I feel like that's something you have to earn. You know what I mean? Like, you have to earn me caring about these relationships. I'm not just going to care about them because it's just like, oh, this girl's cute. Ooh. And I'm just like, oh, okay, they're going to get together or whatever the situation is. But yeah, so I don't know. It's one of those things, man.
Right. Well, I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from.
It's fine. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna.
Was there anything that you like outright just didn't like?
My thing I absolutely hate about the first episode, 14.
Oh God,
14.
Yes.
Yeah.
He really drove home that he was fucking 14 years old.
14. This place sucks. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Blah.
He.
Yeah, I mean,
it's so much.
Just in general, like, I try not to be completely negative, but like, don't really have any attachment to the protagonist out of the gate. The person I connect with most is the fucking old man that's telling this kid to give up on his dreams, which is how I know I'm an adult now. Give up on your dreams, do a normal job, something reliable.
Stop caring about figure skating.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything just turns into
you'll never land a quad flip. Never.
Oh no, I like the dude that was working on his board. He was pretty. No.
This is how you would have gotten me. This is how you win over Matt Gadry on this thing. Opposed to them riding on boards. Boom, ice skating in the air. I'm in. Somebody, instead of being like, what was it, the cutback, whatever the fuck, cutback drop turn. Cutback drop turn, just being like, oh my god, he just landed a quad flip. Oh.
So he needs air gear.
Yeah, he would probably really like air gear.
Probably.
I know.
We'll have to check that one out next time.
I've never actually seen air gear. I do know the intro for it.
Air gear is more like skating in the air.
Yeah, it's kind of a rollerblade anime.
It's not on the ground for the most part.
The only piece of art that really like stood out to me, art-wise or animation-wise, was when they're in the classroom.
Yeah,
and they do a lot of good work with the lighting physics in that scene. That really stood out to me.
I like the set pieces, like where you get to see like the large landscapes around the town. I like that.
So like that I really enjoyed, was because it normally lights just kind of light, you know what I mean? But they they actually went in and messed with.
Sorry, people,
you're having a rough time over there, dude.
Yeah, this is why I didn't get to pay full attention to the episodes, because people were fucking messaging me.
I could have stopped, talking so we could edit it out, but fuck it, we're doing it live.
Yeah, no more editing.
Yeah,
we've evolved beyond editing.
We really have. At this point, we don't edit shit. We're sick of it. We're recording episodes after episodes every single day. We ain't got time for editing.
We do a lot of like live editing. If we realize that we fucked up in an episode, we'll go back and cut it. So.
Yeah, fuck it. But anyways, yeah. So like that scene stuck out. Was out to me. One thing that I thought was interesting was like when the mechs go from like their vehicle form that we saw to the mech form. There's not a whole lot of moving parts. which is kind of unique. Normally,
it doesn't have a Transformers vibe.
Yeah, it just
which
I
appreciate.
It more like flips down and just goes into it, which is kind of a unique thing, and I kind of enjoyed that because in reality, like having this 3,000 part movement thing where things are folding away,
real
folding
impractical,
out,
lots
really
of points of failure and shit.
You know, it's interesting visually, but it's like, that's probably gonna break 4 minutes in the first fight. You know, like one punch, and it's like, okay, well, I can't collapse that fucking rib on this thing and kick out this thing or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So I like that. That's a lot more practical way of looking at it. That's something I've never really seen before.
Yeah.
I'm honestly a lot more interested in Lucio and the other guy.
Matthew and Stoner.
Yeah,
that's actually his name.
His name is Stoner. Yes.
Okay.
I'm a lot more interested in that group. Like that, their storyline is something I'm a lot more interested in. I'm more invested already in those characters and what they're doing, like their whole like outlaw thing, than I am like the chick or the dude.
Now I'm actually going to piggyback off that because, like I told you off air, I have seen like 2 episodes of this in the past, but again, way back in the day when it was on like G4 and shit on Anna Midnight, I don't remember any of it for the most part, like story-wise. I do seem to remember that I believe the main character does get involved with that group. Does he not?
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, you said you were going to give it probably the 3-episode shot.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, that is actually what should boil down to a full first episode storyline. So the first 3 episodes gives a this is basically the beginning. There's a middle, and then there's an end.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's not inherently bad, the show. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and trash it, but like, it's definitely not something for me. The other thing is, that like I'm not particularly into mechame.
Right. I'm a big fan of mech, but I can definitely understand where you're coming from with that. Mech anime is not necessarily something that's for everyone.
Yeah, I'm just not that guy. That like the only mechame that I've really been into was Zoids, but that's just because it was on Toonami when I used to get home from school.
Right.
It was like that and like DBZ and shit. So like during the Boo Saga. So I just never really been into mech-ame. I mean, that about my mech-ame that I made up. Like I just was like, I was doing shit that not many people have ever done with mechame, just because I don't know this. I don't know the rules to mechame. I don't know what's been done, what hasn't been done.
Here's the thing. Who cares? If you're going to create something, create what you want to create and make good content over just producing tropey shit that everyone else is seeing.
That's the thing that I like, is like I like to write things that I'm not really necessarily into, just because that ignorance lends itself to creativity a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And then I like to write stuff that I know so deep and so well that I like to look at something and be like, how do you fundamentally change this in a way that no one's ever done it before?
Yeah. Here's the thing, people. If you show some support, that might be content that you all get to see at some point in the future.
If somebody's really good at animation or really good at really into art, holler at us at loudtableproductions@gmail.com. Let us know that you're into it, and we'll get some manga written up or something.
We are basically
a radio show.
That's true.
Yeah, we are basically looking for making manga and comics out of some of this shit. So
I can also see the thing about mecha anime. I'm not the biggest into mecha anime. I've seen a few. This being one of them: Eureka 7, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Gurren Lagann.
That's the one. The Evangelical. That's the one with the chick with the eye patch, right?
Yeah.
I think I was at your house.
Langley.
I think I was at your house doing laundry one night, and you had it on, and that's when my mechame clicked in my head. I was just like, "What if this?"
Yeah. But no, I'm a huge mech anime fan. Like I go all the way back to like original Gundam and shit. Like that's my. I'm full of shit. That's not my genre. Everything's my genre because I have not found like a specific genre I don't like, other than maybe slice of life. But then I still have shit in that I find that I enjoy. So
I actually really enjoy slice of life. It's one of my favorite types of anime to watch.
What? See, I'm very particular with my anime. Like I like dude bro anime. I like the anime where it's dudes punching other dudes most of the time.
So you're a big shonen.
Yeah,
guy.
I like One Piece. I like Dragon Ball Z. I like Naruto.
I suggest My Hero Academia if you like that.
I've seen the first episode of that actually. I'm pretty sure. But I wasn't really like watching it. I was doing stuff and I was just at a friend's house and they were watching it. But yeah, so, and then like Death Note and stuff like that. Like, I'm very particular about my anime. There's not a whole lot of anime that I'm super into.
Right.
So it's kind of harder for an anime to hook it, like get its hooks in me and get me really interested in.
Well, as we're doing more Brotakus, that might change. We might find some more shit you like because we struck gold on Yuri.
We already found my favorite anime of all time and my favorite character, Christoph Giacometti, the main man.
I mean, I do watch a lot of anime. I don't really want to claim myself as an otaku, but I watch a shit ton of anime.
Right.
When I turn 25, I'm getting business cards that say, I'm one of the oldest skaters left now that you've left the ice. I'm practically a relic at 25.
Okay, let's kind of circle back before we wrap up here. So I know your thoughts on it, Underwood. Overall, what did you think? Scale of 1 to 10. I'm gonna assume you're probably aiming middle of the road.
Yeah, middle of the road. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with it. So, like, it's probably like a 6.5. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong that I have a problem with it. It's just pretty, like, it just seems kind of standard. You know what I mean? Like, nothing really stood out and was just like, you know, oh my god, look at that, or oh my god, what's going on? You know, nothing really struck my fancy too incredibly well. So yeah, I'd say like 6.5.
Okay, I'm gonna probably. I'm hedging my bets, hoping that it picks up enough that I really like fall in love with it later. So I'm gonna probably hedge my bet with like a 7.5.
Okay,
leaving room for improvement. So, I know what you feel.
What do you think I feel? Actually,
I think you're going to say like an 8.25 or a 9.
Yeah. Well, 8 out of 10 for the entire series as a whole.
Okay.
The first episode, I really, really don't really care for.
Right.
I would probably give it about a 6 or a 7 almost.
So you're right there with us for the first episode. But...
yeah, it definitely does pick up.
Okay.
It's something that it's more of an experience finishing it.
Yeah.
Than, you know,
okay.
The first episode.
The other thing to keep in mind is, like, this is like one of the anime that even when I never really watched anime, I knew this anime existed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
which means it was popular enough that you heard about it.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a big draw for anime like this. You know what I mean? It's just like the fact that you don't really need to watch anime. Certain animes pop up to the top, like Cowboy Bebop or this or Gundam and stuff like that. Like, you don't necessarily need to be into anime. And then when you do decide, okay, I'm going to watch an anime, that's in the back of your head of like, okay, well, this thing, I've heard of this before. You know what I mean? So I feel like this probably does have a very large fan base, and based off the fact that it is kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, you know, you've heard of Eureka 7, right? So
Eureka?
I'm assuming it, whatever. I'm assuming it,
Eureka Sensei?
Yeah, I'm assuming I'm Eureka 7. So I'm assuming that it gets better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm assuming that it becomes very good at a certain point. Just based off of how many people I know that have talked about it before.
And honestly, I think my feeling on it is that it may be. Do you know if the director of it was newer, or maybe newer to the genre? Because maybe it was just a learning on the job kind of thing.
I do not know the name of the director. Actually,
That's fine. It's not that big a deal. How likely do you think you are, Matt, to follow up?
I probably won't, honestly.
You don't think so?
No, like I said, I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with it, nothing inherently good about it. There wasn't enough there for me to be very interested. Like, the episode, spoilers for people, it ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
This kid is falling, and he's like...
Literally.
Yeah, he's literally fallen off of a cliff, you know, and he's like, oh, you know, did I do the wrong thing? Am I blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, whenever the episode ended, I said, I hope that the next episode opens up with his broken body on the ground.
Yeah, that showed your love for the character right there.
So it's just like...
I will say, Johnny Young Bosch's voice is a very grating in this first episode.
Let me say something, though. If the next episode did open with him fucking dead on the ground, dude,
you'd be sold for the rest of the fucking series.
I would be so in. That's ballsy right there. That goes against the grain.
You might like Gantz.
Or
Gantz. It is a dark sci-fi anime. It's the only anime I've ever seen where the two main characters of the anime die within the first 5 minutes. Legit dead.
I don't know. I've seen an anime where someone dies in the first minute or two. Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah.
But he comes back.
Well,
it ends up being fine. Dude, Yu Yu Hakusho.
I forgot that, but yeah.
It literally opens up Oh, Yusuke gets hit by a car.
This was a very violent death in Gantz. They get hit by a train. Spoilers. I've spoiled the first 5 minutes of Gantz for everybody.
The first 5 minutes. I mean,
yeah. Anyways, for me, I'm definitely probably going to revisit it. When I revisit it, I'm probably going to watch it subbed because I did not care for the main character's voice. I normally like Johnny Young Bosch's VA, but this was not appealing to me. So I'm going to give it a go in
and Yuko Sanpei, who voices Boruto, voices him in the sub. So
fair enough. I do like that voice actor so far. I'm not normally super particular when it comes to dub versus sub. This is a debate we'll have later, though.
I'm very particular.
But
I'm not the most particular either. I do prefer subs. There are instances where I won't mind watching a dub either.
I mostly watch dub just because I'm usually doing other shit too.
Yeah. Here's my thing. All right, this is just I'm not going to go into a huge rant. I'm forcing down.
Keep it a brief one.
So
we'll let you voice this.
So my whole thing about sub is I have no problem with sub inherently. My problem with sub is all the people out there that if you say like, "Oh, I watch this anime," and dub,
purists,
they immediately like attack you or whatever, and I'm like, "Listen, neckbeard, fight me like an actual adult over this. I dare you." You know what I'm saying? Like, I dare you to take a swing at me.
I feel it should just boil down to personal preference. I don't think you should shit on someone else's opinion because I don't like watching it in English. Okay, so you don't like watching it in English.
But my thing is like I feel like there's sub Nazis out there, and I have to be the bear Jew. I have to be the dub Jew, and I have to come in with a baseball bat and crack some skulls.
I will admit I will shit on some people for liking a dub if it is completely atrocious.
Like somebody like
if the dub is just literal shit.
Like I had a discussion,
not like intentionally bad like Ghost Stories, but just horrible.
Yeah, I had a discussion with Sean at work about Goku's not Goku's voice, but Beerus and Whis' voice in the dub for Dragon Ball Super, and he was like, "Oh, it sounds terrible."
I think they're fine.
And I was just like, "I think they're fine." And he was just like, "No, man, I can't do it. I have to watch sub." And I was like, "Oh, you mean where Goku sounds like he's a cat that's getting stabbed to death repeatedly?"
I will say, Goku's in not Goku's,
I bit my tongue when I was doing that.
Beerus and Whis' voice in Super. I stopped watching Super after the Beerus saga was done. I couldn't deal with the animation anymore because I fucking hate Toei. But the voices are very serviceable. They're good, but they're not as good as they were in the movie, I feel.
Right.
But
it's like their heart wasn't in it.
Better than Dokkan Battle. Dragon Ball Z.
Dokkan Battle.
That's actually my feeling about Super as well. I think they really did the movie a disservice by like tearing it apart and extending certain scenes that really didn't need to be extended.
Fair enough. I can understand that. Anyways, we'll actually come back another time for a more serious like dub versus sub battle on here. Yeah. We have that planned.
Oh, and it will be a battle.
Ideally, we're going to try to do like legitimate debate format, but
and then eventually, once it devolves into drunk yelling, we'll do a charity event where we square up.
So wait, we're gonna do shots doing this because if that's the case, I might have to stay here the night. We'll have to do this like on a Friday or something.
Every time somebody utters the words like
pretentious. Anytime the word pretentious is dropped.
Anytime somebody on the sub side says this is the way it was intended to be heard, then there's shots taken. Every time somebody on the dub side says like pretentious, then they got a drink. Is that the deal?
Well, I will say that there are some voices that are definitely meant to be heard in a certain way. With original anime like this one was.
See, I don't like that argument. This is not something we should go into, but I don't like that argument. I'll do just a brief 2-sentence retort, which is when we make content in America, Marvel movies and stuff like that, guess what we do? We put a dubbed audio track for whatever the fuck country we're sending it to. You know why it's in Japanese? It's not because the creator was like, I never want this to go anywhere else. This is meant to be consumed in Japanese. It's because they're making stuff in Japan where people speak Japanese.
I'll get into my reasoning for that later with the actual example I have when we actually do that episode.
Sure.
Fuck it, we're doing this live. Let's do it. And close it out and we'll start on this bitch.
Well, we got to do our wrap up here. All right, we're going to wrap that there. We're already at almost 40 minutes, everybody. This is Brotakus. We're part of the Loud Table Productions Network. We produce content every single day, ideally new content every single day.
Yep. And here's the thing about the Loud Table Productions family. We're only meant to be heard in English.
Listen, man, if we start talking some weird other languages, it might be fucking something wrong because I don't know anything else.
Are you speaking German, bro?
That's really going to be some terrible German.
Yeah,
said some crazy shit. Probably said some crazy Nazi shit. Continue.
Now, we're part of the Loud Table Productions Network, making content every single day. We've got podcasts for all sorts of shit, general discussion, comedy, anime, comics, movies, Game of Thrones, whatever the fuck you want. If we don't have something you like, let us know. We'll make it. We've got content on the back burner. We've got so much content, we're just bursting with ideas. You can...
I mean, we're literally about to explode all over your face, neck, and chest with content.
That got weird.
That got very visualized, Gadry.
Listen, listener.
Content.
Listen, listener. Your sexual innocence might be powerful.
You had to drop that again, didn't you?
He did.
I have.
This is his catchphrase.
My favorite Yuri thing ever. Continue.
Anyways, you can follow us on Facebook, Loud Table Productions. We're on Instagram at Loud Table _Productions. That's what it is. I set this up. I don't know why the fuck I'm forgetting it. We're Twitter, Loud Table Prod. You can follow us individually. I'm Chris _Bogart on Twitter.
I'm at Gadry Ross. That's GADRYROSS.
I don't know that you have a Twitter.
I have a Twitter. I don't know if it's at Negima Addict or not.
You might be able to find him. So if you want to hit him up there.
Who knows? Negima Addict's my thing for everything. PlayStation Network, Steam. So who knows?
Or you can look him up by looking up Cristo.
Cristio,
the Count of Monte Cristo.
Cristio.
We are not calling me Cristio. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Okay.
Hey, why are you staring at me, asshole?
Well, sir.
I'm going to do that next time that we're recording something and somebody's just like looking at me, you know what I'm saying, while I'm talking. I'm just going to be like, why are you staring at me, asshole? I want his jacket so bad, but no one makes his jacket.
Yeah, if you have suggestions for other anime that we can cover, any other content that you want to see us hit.
Animes that you'd like to hear us discuss that we might have mentioned during this.
Or if you just want to send us hate mail, we're totes down with that too. Just hit us up at loudtableproductions@gmail.com. We will read these things.
Yep.
We swear.
We'll respond. I'm just going to respond by sending you all the lyrics to "I'm the King, JJ," just replaced with Matt.
Okay.
I'm the king, Matt. No one defeats me.
Oh no, we've created a monster.
That was always a monster.
We've just unleashed it with music and skates.
Like that's the same thing with Disney. If you bring up Disney, I'm just like, I just start singing.
We need to do a Disney marathon at some point, sir.
Dude, we can.
All right.
Make that happen.
Well, we're going to wrap this up, people. Just remember, like, comment, subscribe, share us on all the social medias. Rate
us on
iTunes. Follow us wherever the fuck you can find us. We're on all the podcasting aggregates. Yeah.
Just follow me in real life and just creep on me and just be like,
ooh. Oh, yeah. But remember.
Doing that then.
But remember, the more you follow us, the more you support us, the more likely it is that one day Senpai will finally notice us.
Notice me, Senpai!